Are you stocking up on your ammunition and looking for ways to store it and keep an inventory of what you have on hand? Well, I had the same question, so stick around and I'll show you what I did. A few months ago, I decided I was going to stock up on my ammunition. I reached out to YouTube for some suggestions on how to stock it, store it, and keep an inventory of it. Now, many of us have different ideas of how to store ammunition, where to store it, how to treat it, how long it's going to last, all sorts of questions. So what I did is I just took some of these ideas and I put them together and put them to my own use in my own way. Let me show you what I've done, and like I said, this just started a couple of months ago. So I really don't have a vast quantity of ammunition on hand, but let me show you what I have here and how I've stored it. I started out with some ammunition and got myself some ammo cans in which to place this ammunition. Now, as you can see, I only have about 5 small 30 caliber cans and 2 50 caliber cans. And each one has its own purpose and its own caliber. And in front you can see that I have started off with, I've got some 45 caliber, my 357, 38, 380. I've got 223, actually these are in the magazines. I've got some 12 gauge, and I've got some random shells that they were hanging out loose, just no place to go, so they're just little orphans there. So what I did was I bought these individual cans. I had one can, the 223. I had that one for quite a while. But I bought some new 30 calibers, another 50 caliber, and I did have a 50 caliber already in hand. I hadn't used in a long time. So, as you can see, I've clearly marked each one with the caliber. I've marked it on the front and on the top. And each caliber is going to have its own separate can. And when the can is full, I will just buy another container, or I will switch from a 30 to a 50 caliber container to keep a larger quantity of ammo. Now my goal is to have 1,000 rounds of each ammo in stock. And that will be in both target and defensive, but I will probably have more of the target in hand that I will, the defensive in hand that I will the target. And as I said, when each box gets filled, let's say the 357 here, when I have totally exhausted the space in the 357 here, the can, I will buy another can and start on it again, or at that point I may decide just to get another 50 caliber can to store more ammunition. You're probably wondering why I didn't get the 50 caliber cans to begin with. Really don't have an answer to that. I just got a good deal on some 30 caliber cans, so I figured I'd go with those to start with. Since, like I said, I'm just starting out on my inventory here, so those that have been watching may have been inventorying and stocking up on ammunition a lot longer than I have, and they probably have the same questions why I just didn't start with a bigger can, but that was just my choice. What can I say? But I'm also going to mark these cans as either defensive rounds or target rounds. Or I may just use one of the 50 caliber cans. This one is not being used for anything except for a catch-all. I may use one of the 50 caliber cans as for defense or for target rounds only, since I want to really focus on keeping defensive rounds. Again, my goal is 1,000 rounds each. Right now, as it stands, that's going to be about 6,000 rounds. And I keep my inventory on an Excel spreadsheet, and I'll show you what my spreadsheet looks like as of this date. So, let's go to the spreadsheet and let me show you how I'm actually stocking. And before I do that, though, some people are wondering, and I wondered myself, should I keep the ammo in the boxes themselves, or should I just put them in the can freely, just dump them in the can? I'm still mixed about that. Now, let me show you something about the 223. The 223, open this up here. I had a lot of loose 223s, so in this particular can, in this particular can, I do have 223s loose in here. Now I'm going to separate these out because I do have a boatload of green tip 223s, which I've not been able to find lately, and I don't know whether they've been taken off the public market or what. But the 223s are just dumped into the can, inventoried and dumped into the can. As I get more 223s, I'll probably leave them in the box and then go to a larger can for the 223s themselves. Now, one other thing I need to point out is when you put these, like the 223s, like I said, when you put them in the can, I've also invested in desiccant gel. The small packs of desiccant gel, I get them from Amazon.com. They're inexpensive. I keep 2 or 3 packs in each can and make sure I keep the can closed as well. Now, as far as one point that's been brought out, and I agree with, on these cans here, take the lid off, make it easier. You can see this is a rubber, this black is a rubber lining around the can that keeps the water out, keeps the cans watertight. What I recommend is to take some oil, just take some little gun oil or some 3-in-1 oil, something like that on your finger, just lightly coat these rubber bushings, rubber gaskets here. That helps keep out any moisture, and with the desiccant gels in the can, that would actually make sure that your ammo is staying dry as it should, because this stuff will last for decades if kept properly. And I've actually shot ammunition that is, oh God, 30 or 40 years old. And speaking of that, I do want to show you one other thing. Let me show you some ammunition that I have had. I don't plan on shooting it, but I've got to show it to you. So hold on just 1 minute here. I have some ammo here that is actually 45 caliber, and it's actually over 100 years old. Don't think you can see the writing too well. I'll give it a try though. But it says here November 22nd, right here, November 22nd, and date is 1914. So this is over 100 years old. It's 45 caliber. That's one of the shells. It's 45 caliber. Lead bullet on it. Casing's brass. And it's a box of 25, or 20 that is. And it says smokeless powder here. Now, of course, I'm not shooting this ammunition. I don't know, I'm just throwing this little bit in as a tidbit with this ammo, or this particular video. But it actually went to this firearm here, which is an old Smith & Wesson model 1917 45 caliber revolver, and shoot those. I can shoot regular 45 auto here. I can shoot the 45 auto through this in this weapon with moon clips, but this was my grandfather's service revolver from back in World War I, and I'm going to keep this ammunition as keepsake. Not going to shoot it, but I am going to store it in the best conditions I can. So let's go ahead and take a look at my Excel spreadsheet, and I'll show you how I store and inventory my ammunition on the spreadsheet.
I found the easiest way for me to keep an inventory of my ammo is by simply just creating another tab on my existing Excel spreadsheet that I use to inventory my firearms. So I just created a tab called Ammo and placed all my inventory information here. And as you can see, I have it sorted out by cartridge or caliber, how many rounds are on hand with the total, and what my goal is. And like I said, for each one is 1,000 rounds. I said 6,000 total in my a few minutes ago, but maybe 5,000. I may have got it wrong here. But in any of the case, I've also got it to figure out what my percentage of the goal I have reached. So, for instance, .38 caliber, I have 189 rounds, which is 19% of my goal of 1,000. And let's say .223, I've got 379 rounds out of 1,000. That's a 38% goal. So, like I said, my goal is 1,000 rounds for each particular ammunition cartridge or caliber. And I'm not going to push it by trying to get all of it at one time. I'll just gradually build up as it goes on. Now, also, I have it divided to the caliber, .38. I've got what is target, and this is, I've got some old birdshot in here. I don't really have any defensive rounds of .38 yet, but if I do, I'll add another row here. .45, same thing. I've got by grain, how many grains. It's jacketed hollow point Hydra-Shok, full metal jacketed, jacketed hollow point, and my Hornady critical defense. And the same with .223, .357, .380, and 12 gauge. And this keeps a running tab of what I have got here. If I go out to the range and I buy a couple of boxes of ammunition to shoot, I don't count that ammunition, but what I do bring home, I will count on this inventory if I bring any home. So this is basically the simplest way for me to keep the inventory of what I have on hand, my ammunition, see what my goals are, see what percentage I have reached to my goals, and over time, a couple of years or so, I should have my total goals met, how many rounds I need each. So, I hope this has helped you out, and if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and check that little bell or ring that little bell or whatever you want to do with it to make sure you're notified of any future videos. And thank you for watching, and until next time, guys, be safe out there.